Have you ever woken up in the US, looked at your utility bills, and thought, I worked my whole life just to pay this? The bills keep rising, gas is expensive, and health insurance swallows half your pension. You want to slow down, but everything around you is speeding up. Now, imagine this. You wake up to the sound of waves, not traffic. Your morning coffee costs just $1, and rent is so cheap, you can still afford fresh flowers every week. And most importantly, the moment you step off the plane, they hand you permanent residency, like a ticket to paradise. Sounds like a dream? It's not. On the world map, there are countries that actually do this. They don't need you to be rich. They won't make you wait for years. They just need you to be ready to cross the border, so that starting tomorrow, your life flows with the rhythm of the waves, not the ticking of a clock. The question is, will you dare to go? Leave a comment. I'm ready. If you want to know the names of these countries, hit follow so you don't miss the next part. And if you think someone else needs to know this, share it with them today. Dream it. Pack it. Go. 5. Mexico. Close, delicious, cheap, and fun. Let's be honest. Retiring abroad sounds fancy, but many people immediately picture a 15-hour flight, 3 layovers, and getting lost in a country where you can't even read the signs to know what's being sold. But Mexico is different. It's right across the border. You can literally drive there. Or, if you don't feel like driving, hop on a plane, and you'll land just in time to wake up from a nap. And it's not just close. Mexico is surprisingly easy to live in. Want to settle down permanently? Super simple. They have something called a temporary resident visa. Sounds official, but it's very easy to get if you have a decent pension or savings. 2 options. A pension of about $2,600 a month. If you're getting a standard Social Security check, you'll likely qualify, or savings of around $43,000 or more. Apply at the Mexican consulate in the U.S. And the first year is approved, then you can renew for up to 4 years. After that, you can upgrade to permanent residency without having to prove your finances again. Feeling lighter already, right? Estimated monthly cost for one person, $1,000. $1,600. Renting a 1-bedroom apartment in beautiful, safe cities like Mérida or Oaxaca costs only $400, $800 month. Local markets sell fresh vegetables, meat, and fish for 50–70% less than in the US. A hearty lunch at a casual eatery? Just $4, $6. At that rate, in the US you'd barely cover your utility bills, but in Mexico, you can have coffee every morning, buy fresh flowers weekly, hit the beach on weekends, and still have money left over. Healthcare in Mexico. Good and affordable. If in the US, medical bills can make you faint, in Mexico you'll be pleasantly surprised. The public healthcare system, IMSS, is very affordable if you enroll, and private healthcare is fast, with little waiting, and many doctors speak English. A private consultation costs only $30, $50. Prescription medicine is as easy to buy as vegetables, and prices are much lower than in the US. Private insurance runs about $50, $150 month, depending on your age and coverage plan. Don't believe everything Hollywood movies say about Mexico being all about mafia and car chases. In reality, many places are incredibly safe and welcoming. Mérida has been voted the safest city in Mexico for years. Lake Chapala feels like a mini America, with neighbors mostly being retirees from California, Texas, and Arizona. You gain new friends while still enjoying all the familiar conveniences of home. John's from City to Sea story. John, a 7-year-old retired engineer from Arizona, once received a $12,800 medical bill for a minor surgery. He said, "I hurt more from the bill than from the surgery." One day, while browsing online, John discovered that in Mérida, the exact same procedure cost only $2,000 with English-speaking doctors. So he sold his house, packed only the essentials, and applied for a temporary resident visa. A few weeks later, it was all done. 3 months after arriving, he knew all his neighbors by name, had a favorite coffee shop, and a group of new friends, all Americans, who had retired a few years before him. Now, his living expenses are only 1/3 of what they were in the US, and he spends his time painting, going to the beach, and bragging to friends that, "I wish I had done this 10 years earlier." Lifestyle, both traditional and modern. Mexico offers you something rare. Mornings sipping coffee in a historic plaza, afternoons shopping at fresh seafood markets, and evenings enjoying live music. You can choose the lively energy of Mexico City or the year-round warmth of a small coastal town. No matter where you are, you feel like you are truly living, not just existing like before. Mexico is like a charming neighbor, always ready to open the door, treat you to a good meal, and make you feel at home, even if you've just arrived. If one day you want your retirement to be filled with sunshine, laughter, and blue seas, comment number 5. 4. Guatemala, the land of aromatic coffee, stunning volcanoes, and costs that make you smile. If Mexico is like a charming neighbor, then Guatemala is like a close friend, who's always ready to pour you a steaming cup of coffee and ask, "So, how's life treating you?" Nestled in the heart of Central America, this small country carries the rich aroma of world-class coffee, the charm of cobblestone streets, and volcanoes standing tall, like gentle giants. What makes many Americans restless with excitement is the fact that you can apply directly for permanent residency. As soon as you arrive, all you need is proof of a steady income of about $1,250 per month from a pension or foreign source. No years of waiting, no temporary residency phase. Just a neat application and a few basic documents, and you can officially call this place home. The great thing is that life in Guatemala won't have you reaching for your wallet every second. With just about $900, $1,200 a month, you can live comfortably on your own, and for couples, $1,600, $2,000 is enough to live well and still have extra to spare. You can rent a cozy apartment in Antigua, or even in the capital, Guatemala City, for just $350, $700. Shop in local markets for fresh produce, meat, fish, and freshly roasted coffee at prices up to 65% lower than in the US, and enjoy a delicious meal at a local restaurant for only $3, $5. Even a cup of premium coffee is so affordable that you'll wonder what you've been drinking all these years in the US. Many people worry about healthcare abroad, but Guatemala will surprise you. Private hospitals here are modern, services quick, and in areas with large expat communities, English-speaking doctors are common. A private consultation costs only about $25, $40, and if you choose private health insurance, it's just $45, $100 per month. Some people even skip insurance altogether, because healthcare is so affordable that paying out of pocket is still much cheaper than in the US. Of course, safety is always important, and Guatemala, like any country, has areas you should avoid. But in Antigua, Lake Atitlan, or expat communities in the capital, life is very peaceful. Antigua especially captivates visitors, with its brightly painted houses, cobblestone streets, and cozy cafes, where the barista will remember your name after just a few visits. Linda, a 64-year-old woman from New Jersey, once thought she would retire in Florida until she saw the cost of housing and insurance there. A short trip took her to Antigua, and just one sip of Guatemalan coffee changed everything. She returned to the US, did some research, and discovered that with a $1,250 monthly pension, she could apply directly for permanent residency here. 4 months later, Linda had moved to Guatemala, living in a small house overlooking the mountains, spending her mornings strolling the old streets, her afternoons gardening, and her evenings sipping rum with neighbors. It cost me less than $1,000 a month, yet my quality of life is 3 times what it was in the US, she says. Guatemala is a place where you can start your day with birdsong and the aroma of fresh coffee, sit and watch clouds drift past volcano peaks, and end the day with laughter at a street festival. It's not as flashy as a travel postcard, but its warmth, closeness, and easy lifestyle are what make people stay. And sometimes, all you need to start a new chapter is a plane ticket, a hot cup of coffee, and the firm decision that it's time to live, not just exist. If you find yourself smiling at the thought, maybe it's time to comment whatever you like. Point out where you think I'm wrong. I love that. Like, subscribe, and let every new video bring you one step closer to your own paradise. 3. Uruguay, where time flows with the waves, not the clock. Imagine sitting on the balcony of a small apartment facing the sea, a cup of hot coffee in your hands, watching white-crested waves roll one after another onto the soft white sand. In the distance, a few elderly people stroll leisurely, smiling and greeting each other like lifelong friends, even if they've just met for the first time. Here, this isn't a short vacation, it's everyday life. Uruguay has become a dream destination for many American retirees, not only because of its tranquility, but also because of how warmly it welcomes newcomers. You can apply for permanent residency the moment you arrive. No need to prove a large income, no requirement to invest in property, and no years of waiting. All you need is a valid passport, a rental adresse, a medical checkup, and a clean criminal record. Your application can be approved within a few months at the Dirección Nacional de Migración. Few countries in South America have such open and welcoming policies. The cost of living in Uruguay surprises many. Just $800 to $1,200 a month. In Montevideo, the coastal capital, you can rent a one-bedroom apartment near the beach for around $430 a month. Local markets overflow with fresh produce, famous beef, and fresh fish, up to 50% cheaper than in the US. A single person spends about $180 a month on groceries. Public transportation is convenient, taxis are affordable, and intercity buses reach even the rural countryside. In towns like Punta del Este, a resort paradise, or Colonia del Sacramento, a peaceful historic city, costs are even lower, while the quality of life remains the same. Uruguay's healthcare system ranks among the best in Latin America. Many doctors are trained in Europe or the US, can speak English, and private healthcare coverage costs only about $70, $100 a month. A private consultation is about $30, $50, and even in small towns, service quality is reliable. Security is a major plus. Violent crime is rare, politics are stable, and there's little social unrest. Seniors are respected, and the culture values courtesy and kindness. It's not uncommon to see locals helping tourists carry luggage, or stopping their cars just to greet a friend. Uruguay carries a European charm, a slow pace of life, and a deep appreciation for family and community. You'll often see groups of friends gathering by the beach to drink mate, the traditional herbal tea, strolling along the Rambla, the 20+ km coastal promenade, or joining in music, art, and tango festivals. The climate is mild, with 4 distinct yet gentle seasons, enough for you to enjoy, without harsh extremes. Ron, a 6-8-year-old from Indiana, once thought his retirement would be all about cutting costs, just to pay the bills. That was until he read about Uruguay, a place where he could settle long-term without proving high income. 2 months later, Ron was standing on the balcony of his $430 month one-bedroom apartment near the sea. Every morning he walks the Rambla. Every afternoon, he drinks mate with neighbors. And each time he checks his bank account, he smiles, knowing he no longer has to choose between enjoying life and paying bills. Now, he can do both. For Americans, Uruguay is even more appealing, thanks to its friendly tax policies. Foreign income, such as U.S. pensions or investments, is tax-exempt or heavily discounted for the first several years, saving thousands annually. This isn't a distant luxury dream. It's a reality close enough to touch. A place that's neither loud nor flashy, yet powerful enough to stretch the days you truly live, so that every morning you wake up, knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be. And if there's one regret, it's only that you didn't come to Uruguay sooner. Share in the comments the countries you think offer a great life. Tell me about them. It might just be the spark for my next video, and I truly appreciate it. 2. Paraguay. The land where life moves so slowly, you forget you were ever in a rush. Here, when you open your window in the morning, a warm breeze from the Paraguay River drifts in, carrying the scent of freshly cut grass, and the calls of street vendors selling fruit. People greet each other in the street, ask how you've been, as if you've been neighbors for years. No noise, no rat race, and best of all, you don't have to be wealthy to start a brand new life here. Paraguay has quietly become a dream destination for Americans seeking peace of mind. And the best part? You can become a permanent resident. With just one simple step, deposit around $5,000 into a local bank account in your name. No donation, no mandatory investment. That money stays yours, ready to withdraw anytime. Add a few basic documents: a clean criminal record, birth certificate, medical exam, and within about 90 days, you're officially welcomed as a legal resident. The cost of living in Paraguay makes many Americans do a double take. But this time, it's because it's so cheap. A single person can live comfortably here on just $600, $700 a month, less than the rent alone in many U.S. states. In Asunción, the capital, a clean, bright apartment with a balcony overlooking a park is about $290. Month class. Utilities included. Fresh food at the local markets is so plentiful and cheap, you can eat well on just $160 a month. In just a few steps, you can walk away with a basket full of vegetables, meat, and fish. That would cost 3 times as much in the U.S. Private health insurance? Only $30, $50 a month, and you'll still be treated at modern facilities by caring doctors with a healthcare system that's expanding rapidly, not just in the cities, but even in rural areas. The magic of Paraguay is that you can choose your pace of life. A lively Asunción with riverside cafes, small concerts, and colorful weekend markets, or a quiet town like Uruguay or Paraguay, where afternoons are for reading under a tree, and the whole town seems to know each other. No matter where you choose, you'll never be pulled into a frantic pace, because here, time flows with the seasons, not the schedule. Many Americans come to Paraguay at first just to try living for a few months, then realize they never want to go back. They fall in love with the mornings spent at the market, bargaining in clumsy Spanish but always rewarded with the vendor's gentle smile. They cherish the cool evenings when neighbors bring over warm empanadas, sharing food and stories under the porch light. And most of all, they treasure the relief of knowing their monthly expenses are less than 1/3 of what they paid in the U.S. Yet life here feels infinitely richer in experiences, richer in human connection. Paraguay isn't a flashy paradise, but it offers something more valuable than money freedom. The freedom to live slowly. The freedom to manage your finances without constant worry. The freedom to exist without invisible pressures weighing you down. Here, you don't have to prove you've made it to be accepted. You simply need to be willing to move in rhythm with this land, and it will welcome you with open arms. And perhaps the moment you truly know you belong here is when you're sitting on your porch on a cool afternoon, a cup of tea growing cold in your hand, with absolutely nothing urgent to do except savoring every single minute of your retirement. Hitting like and subscribe costs nothing, but it might just unlock the secrets to living like royalty on the budget of an American retiree. So go ahead. Click both, just to be sure. 1. Brazil, where every day feels like a festival, and retirement is just an excuse to live fully. There are some places that make you want to retire, just so you can live there. And Brazil is absolutely one of them. Mention Brazil and people think of the dazzling carnival, the legendary Copacabana beach, the heat of samba, or the roar of a stadium during a football match. But behind these familiar images lies a secret few Americans know. If you have a stable income from a pension or another foreign source, usually around $1,200 per month, you can apply for permanent residency right from the start under the retirement visa, unlocking the door to an entirely new life. The process isn't complicated. All you need is a valid passport, a clean criminal record, a health certificate, and proof of regular income deposited into a Brazilian bank account. Submit your application at the local consulate or immigration office, and in some places, you'll get permanent residency right away. In others, you may be granted temporary residency first, which can later be upgraded. The best part? There's no requirement to buy property or make a huge investment, just prove you can live comfortably here. And comfortable in Brazil can be surprisingly affordable. With around $1,000, $1,400 per month, you can enjoy a laid-back lifestyle in many beautiful coastal cities, or spend just a little more for something more luxurious. Renting a 1- or 2-bedroom apartment near the beach in Fortaleza or Natal runs only about $350, $600 a month. Local markets overflow with sweet tropical fruits, fresh seafood, and top-quality beef, often 50% cheaper than in the US. A hearty meal at a neighborhood restaurant costs just $5, $8, often served with an ice-cold glass of sugarcane juice or a perfectly mixed caipirinha. When it comes to healthcare, Brazil is a standout in South America, with many hospitals and clinics meeting international standards, especially in major cities like São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Brasilia. Public healthcare is free for all legal residents, but many choose private care for faster service and higher comfort. Private health insurance costs about $50, $120 a month, and a private consultation usually runs $30, $50. In expat-friendly areas, it's not uncommon to find English-speaking doctors, many of whom trained in the US or Europe. Safety in Brazil is a mixed picture, yes. There are areas you should avoid, but there are also peaceful, welcoming beach towns where you can leave your door unlocked while stepping out for coffee without a second thought. Expat hubs like Florianopolis, Pipa, and much of the Northeast draw foreigners with their slower pace, tight-knit communities, and spontaneous beach parties. One shining example is Mike, a 6-year-old retired teacher from Oregon. He once imagined retirement as tending his garden, reading books, and watching television. Then one day, he saw a video of Brazil people dancing samba in the streets, endless stretches of sand, and rental prices at a third of what he was paying in the US. He laughed and thought, if retirement is like this, it's basically a long honeymoon. 3 months later, Mike was living in a beachfront apartment in Natal. Mornings were for workouts on the sand, afternoons for feijoada, a traditional stew, and evenings for caipirinhas with his expat friends as the waves rolled in. I'm not just living longer here, I'm living happier, he says with a wide smile. Brazil isn't just a destination, it's a rhythm, a place where every morning begins with golden sunlight, music drifting in from somewhere nearby, the smell of fresh coffee mingling with sea air, and ends with a small celebration, whether it's a few friends gathered around a wooden table, laughing to the sound of the surf. Retirement in Brazil isn't about slowing down, it's about finally living the way you always wanted but never dared. If you can picture yourself holding a caipirinha, toes in the white sand, thinking, I was right to come here, then comment, I choose Brazil. Life doesn't let us choose where we begin, but we always have the power to choose where we go next. These countries aren't just dots on a map, they're doorways. Step through, and you're not just changing your address, you're changing your pace, your mornings, and the way you see the world. Maybe you've said before, one day, I'll go. But one day isn't on the calendar. There's only today. Only the decision you make right now. Will you keep living just to pay bills? Or will you live to tell stories of sunsets that set the sky on fire? Will you let your retirement slip by quietly? Or will you turn it into the most beautiful chapter of your life? If your heart just skipped even a single beat, leave a comment, I choose to live fully. Hit follow so this journey becomes more than just a dream. Because sometimes, paradise is only a plane ticket away.